So when you arrived, um, what are some of the things you identified earlier, like early on, as areas to kind of focus on to either bring about change or to like push vision forward? I've heard you use that phrase, like, having vision even for a small community. What were some of those areas of focus?
So for me, I was going to be a youth ministry pastor for life. And about 17 years in, I have a disease in my eyes, and so I don't have any peripheral vision. And I was the biggest threat in our youth ministry to other kids. I was just running them over, knocking them down. So I kind of stepped into some other roles, but I never really wanted to be a lead pastor until I was in a situation where God just kind of put me into that role. And while I don't have to be the guy that makes decisions, I really, really value culture. And when you put the right culture in a place, it will frame everything else for you. So for me, when I came in, the first thing I went after was culture. So for in our situation, a couple of those things were, number one, I just brought about, we're going to have a lot of fun and joy and laughter. Part of it is I'm wired that way, but I just also believe that we're just supposed to be full of joy. We're supposed to be laughing. It ought to be fun, type of thing, rather than somber and quiet is more spiritual. I'm not wired that way.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing for me in terms of culture is that there has to be a passion for reaching the lost. Now, I didn't always have that. Like I said, I grew up in the church, and so I just didn't have to think about hell because I wasn't going to go there. I grew up in the church. I loved God. I gave my life to Him early, so I didn't think about hell until I got to college, and I had to write a 5-page paper on hell. And I had to really look at what Scripture said, and I had to think about how incredibly painful it would be and how long it would last. That paper wrecked me. That's over 45 years ago, and that's still the only paper I remember from my undergraduate studies. And so from that standpoint, I'll do anything short of sinning to try to reach a lost person. That wasn't part of our culture. And so when I first started talking about that, there was a little bit of a pushback in terms of, hey, what about us? We're here. We're the Christians. We're the ones that pay your salary. They wouldn't say that, but you just feel that. And I just had to keep talking about the one, and I had to help them learn to celebrate that. So, for instance, one of the things we would do is because we live in a very outdoor area, and we're in the land of 10,000 lakes. People love to do their baptisms in a lake. And so that's awesome. There's something natural about that. But that also means nobody sees them, unless they're part of the family that got invited to go do it. So we just started right away saying every single one of those is going to be videotaped. And then the next week, we're going to show that. And when we show that, our people just go ape crazy, clapping and cheering and hooting and hollering. And so the first time somebody's in our church and they see a video of a baptism or one live, they just kind of are taken back. But what they get the understanding of real quick is, man, that's a big deal, and they celebrate it here. Well, that's a part of culture. And so that's a part of making it to where people want to see new people come to faith, and they see that as something worthy of celebrating. Because the unfortunate truth is every new person that comes is creating a cost for the 99. Okay, so all of a sudden now we have to have a third service. I don't want 3 services. We've never had 3 services before. And I don't know everybody anymore. I used to know everybody. Well, now I don't see everybody. And one of the things that I saw in that is that was a hidden perception. The third service is not why we don't know everybody anymore. It just feels like it is because we don't want to say we don't know everybody anymore because new people are coming. That would just sound really bad to say, hey, we got too many new people coming. Stop that. But it doesn't sound bad to say, hey, I don't like 3 services because now we don't see everybody anymore. So I'll give one example of that. We used to have an 8 o'clock service, and then at 9:15, we had Sunday school for all hours, all ages. And then we had a 10:30 service. And so I recently had a conversation with somebody who goes to our third service. They've never gone to Sunday school. But they said, I don't like the 3 service thing because I didn't even know so-and-so was still coming because they go to that first service. And you got to look at them and go, you didn't know that before because they weren't staying for Sunday school. You weren't coming for Sunday school, so they were gone before you got here. Well, yeah, but still, I don't like 3 services. So those are some of the things culturally that you have to kind of push towards and help people understand that there's bigger value than the fact that it made me uncomfortable.